Ready to go. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Madison Board of Selectmen to order on Monday, May 20th, 2019 at 6:30 PM. Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show all selectmen are present. Consent agenda warrant number 30. 5/8/19, payroll number 19, 5/9/19, number 20, 5/16/19, and number 21, 5/20/19. Those are not on your agendas, but.
You're right, they're not, but I'll move to accept.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the payroll register and warrants as read. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Acceptance of the meeting minutes of May 8th, 2019.
Move to accept.
Second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of May 8th, 2019. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Old business, Mr. Moody,
None, sir.
Mr. Elias,
Nothing for me, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Savage, Mr. Duchamp.
None for me.
All right, items of communication, Mr. Town Manager.
Just a couple of things. A couple meetings ago, there was a question when we were going over the fee schedule about the mass gatherings ordinance. So I did bring a copy if anybody has any questions. It's really just a boilerplate ordinance that most towns have. That's why these figures of 750 people up to 5,000 in a mass gathering are in there. It's nothing that we decided on a number, it's just a boilerplate number. And the fees are still in this, but they're the same fees that are in the fee schedule. I just didn't want to tack on another ordinance to change, since we're already changing 10 ordinances at town meeting, but I did want to bring up the fact that what we have is pretty standard for a mass gathering ordinance. I don't know if the board had any other questions on that.
Well, the only thing that's gonna change is if we choose to change then we gotta eliminate that out of there, right?
If we do take the fees out of that, then we'd have to take that to town meeting, but we can do that at
Next year.
another
Okay.
time. Yeah. The other thing to pass along to you is, I didn't put it in the agenda, I apologize for that, but I did send a draft of the town meeting warrant in your packets. Now, this has all of the articles that were approved by the advisory board and the selectmen at the May 8th meeting. I actually wanted you to see them. So, Article 3 on the first page is the authorization to spend up to $25,000 from surplus on overdrafts. Now, if there's concern about where that's placed, do you want it first in the meeting or do you want it last in the meeting? Let me know now and I can change that. And you're okay with that there?
I'd put it last,
I would too.
towards the end. or
That's
where-
exactly what I said when you guys were out of the room. I said, this is the worst place for that.
All right.
Article 19 would be a good place for it.
Yeah, I think 19, and,
It would have to be one of the last budget-related articles.
So,
Yeah.
19.
yeah, make it 19 and drive everything else down.
All right, we can do that.
No, it'd be actually 18, right? Everything's gonna move up one.
I'll make sure.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe it'd actually be 18.
he'll get the numbers right.
Correct. You're correct. Yep. Okay,
The car
Put
dealer.
it after the budget number.
The car dealer.
I will do that.
Let's make it Article 50.
On page number 3, I wanted to draw the board's attention to article number 8. So this is the article, this is the only article where the advisory and the select board differ. This comes down to the storm drains assessment. So I tried to make this as clear as possible, and I also added in a little bit of language about the PUC and fire protection. So I just didn't know if there were any questions on that, if the board was okay with the way this is gonna be structured. I plan to address this before town meeting starts, and then once the moderator gets to Article 8, we can try to take any questions.
Mr. Duchamp.
I would think it would be cleaner if you take out that PUC business about the hydrants. It's
Okay.
just, it's one more piece of confusion. I don't mind the advisory board recommends blah, 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 because there's there's gotta be some explanation as to why there's two numbers there. But I think by adding in the stuff about the hydrants and the rate making and all that
Okay.
stuff, it just creates this, oh, what are we doing here? We don't, you know, if you just say, look, these are the hydrants, everybody knows what it is.
Right.
We're just trying to,
Don't want to create more confusion.
yeah,
The only difference is in the sanitary.
right.
That's correct.
Right, that's where the difference is, so let's address that and get rid of that. And you can have that information, so if somebody says, hey, how do we do this? Well, this is the info.
What are you asking? To get rid of fire protection altogether and just put it in the water district?
That,
Yeah.
just get rid of
This last paragraph.
in
here.
1987,
Right.
get rid of that paragraph.
The reason I put that in there is because the advisory board asked
All
for,
point ask for that.
asked for history on
I'll send it to them.
this, so, but if you don't want it,
We're gonna confuse it,
it's
right?
your warrant.
Yeah,
If you don't want it
I
in the
think
warrant,
that-
that's
I
fine.
agree with Jack, that doesn't need to be.
I think we can have the information available.
Yeah. Having it available is one thing, putting it in the warrant's different.
Okay.
It's always put on the back page or something.
Well, there'll be another packet to go along with
Yeah.
the warrant anyhow. Okay? Page 5. So Article 15, 16, and 17, that totals up to the $587,000 in capital that you approved. It's just broken down into road surface, highway equipment, and fire. Article 18 is the money back that Tammy's gonna find to offset taxes. Article 20, each year for the last couple of years, the state has actually raised the amount you can charge for past due taxes. A few years ago, for several years, it was stuck at 7%. The state allowed you to raise it to 8 last year, they'll allow you to raise it to 9 this year. I have 9 in there. Do you want that number? You don't have to. 9% is what you would charge on past due taxes.
Sounds good.
Do we set that every year? If we did nothing with that, would it stay 8?
If you didn't have this article.
Right.
it's-
Oh,
No,
it's down.
because there's a date. But,
We have to read.
yeah, I think you'd be at risk of not being able to charge anything if you didn't have
Right.
this warrant in there,
Right.
article.
You all, is everybody happy with 9?
They can't pay the taxes, I mean.
Yeah.
How can do what we want? I agree, it should be a penalty, but I mean, they can't pay the taxes.
I mean, I don't have a problem with 8. Is that what we had this year right now it's 8?
Currently, it's 8%. For years, it had been set at 7.
Don't they also set amount for overpayment?
That would come up on article number
Is
27.
that in here? Oh, it is?
Yeah, Article 27, and that rate would go up as well, because you can only have a 4-point difference between what you charge and what you have to pay back if you wrongfully tax someone, overtax them.
So if you said the state allows us to go to 9,
That's correct,
so we can do anything we want, right?
you could,
Up to 9.
right,
So if we leave it at 8, this over here is gonna be 4.
that's right.
Okay. I'd rather pay less interest out, too. It's up to you guys.
Keep it at the maximum allowed, and it's consistent.
I agree with what Dave said, you know, they haven't had enough time to
Yeah.
pay. You gotta penalize them.
So we need consensus, so we need a vote.
I'd like a vote on this, if you wanna, what number you want in the warrant, because again, it's your warrant.
Okay, so what do we wanna look on Article 20? So we're looking at, it says, the taxes paid after the said dates to bear interest at a rate of 9% per annum from said dates.
I'll make a motion for 9%.
I'll second that, just to get us moving. Any questions on that? All right, all those in favor of 9? All opposed? All right, 3-2. All right, so we need a,
I make a motion for maintain it at 8.
I'll second that.
all right, we have a motion to leave it at 8%. In a second. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of 8%? All right, I'll go along with 8 at this point. All opposed? We have 4 to 1.
So that would
So it looks like
takes you directly to Article 27.
Make a motion, we make Article 27 read 4%.
All right, we have a motion
Give me a second.
and a second. Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second for
So
4%,
it's
Article 27. All those in favor? All in favor? Motion carries.
The only other thing I'll just note here is we have 10 articles from 29 to 38 that have to do with ordinance changes. I'm creating a packet that should be available prior to town meeting that will have a summary of all those ordinance changes in it. And I think with the changes that the board has made here tonight, I'm in a little bit of a quandary here, so we've got a couple things. Either you can sign, I know Mr. Elias loves to sign back pages. You
I
can-
love to sign a page that's not even hooked to anything.
You can sign the warrant so that we'll have it with these changes that you've made tonight. I don't know if we're gonna have another meeting before town meeting that will give you the opportunity to do that. And Kathy needs this done by June 1st. So if you wanted to sign it tonight with the changes that were made, I'll make those changes.
Under, this is a trust fund, you don't throw it as, right?
That's correct.
Tim's trust fund.
Did we vote to change Article 3 to Article 18? We did not make that a
You
motion.
didn't make it a motion, but I can do that without a motion. It's just where the article falls.
We agreed to
Right.
move it to a
Yeah.
more.
So I'll move that to the end of the budget articles, and I'll change those interest rate articles. And I'll remove that language about the water district fire protection. So thank you for doing that. It's nice to have something with all 5 signatures on it. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, no, you've got 3 articles on you.
I've got a couple more things for Mr. Elias to sign after.
God almighty.
So I sent out an email about the possibility of having a meeting, a brief selectmen's meeting, sometime in the first week of June, prior to town meeting. The 2 priorities are paving projects. The bids for paving are due in by May 31st, which is a Friday. I know Mr. Booty's gone on vacation and Al's out, so unless the 3, and I know you said you could be there later on the
It's gonna- if
3rd.
it's late, it'll be like today,
Right, okay,
within minutes. That's-
okay,
You made it for, you made it a selectmen's meeting.
right.
Well, he was shooting for 5:30, I think.
Well, I was trying to do it early, I was just gonna do a quick meeting at the town office to go over the paving bids, and there'll be 2 more special amusement permits that need to have a public hearing and approval. So, can at least 3 board members meet on Monday the 3rd?
June 3rd?
June
Yeah.
3rd.
What time was you thinking?
What time works for you? I can, as long as it works for
If I
everybody.
know ahead of time, I can make it work.
Can you do as early as 4:30?
I'll be there.
Okay. Can you do that, Jack, on Monday the 3rd?
Remind me.
Got it on my calendar.
Okay. All right, so I think we've got what we need, and
Move on.
the others that won't be there, I can give you the information on the paving bids, you can kind of give input if you want.
Hopefully they don't come in too high.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is paving bids are high across the board this year. The cost of asphalt materials is going up and up.
We could look at those for next spring.
That is correct, they don't have to be done this year.
That might be something we might have to hang on to.
We might have to rebid it in the spring.
All right.
And that is all I have for communication.
Okay, new business.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Did we vote, I'll make a motion that we sign that warrant, the warrant for town meeting with the changes, which we never have made that motion yet. Even though I signed a blank piece of paper with 3 measly things on
all
it.
right, we have a second for that?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to sign the warrant
Thank you.
with all changes.
We're trusting our town manager here.
All right, any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, number 1, we are gonna open a public hearing to take input on a special amusement permit for Avalon Enterprises Incorporated.
Did we
No,
know?
it's a liquor license. They fall within the
Special amusement.
special amusement permit.
Right.
We gave them 2 last
No.
time. No?
Yeah, we did the tent,
We did that tent and we did
and
the
then
liquor license
in
hours.
Yeah.
Don't try to make me go crazy.
All right,
I know we
so-
did too.
Right, so what Mr. Elias is remembering is they applied for their renewal of their liquor license for on and off premises.
Right.
But because they provide live music and because the town of Madison still has a special amusement permit ordinance, they came in, paid the $20, and are now taking input on having a special amusement permit. This applies to any entity that has a liquor license and provides live music. And like I mentioned earlier, there's two more on the table. Brown Family Enterprises, Lakewood Golf Course, and the American Legion.
Yeah.
Both of those have liquor license, and they're both doing live shows this year.
This is, according to Tim this afternoon, it's if you have one
Right,
live music show, you have to apply for this permit.
so it covers you for the whole year, so they could have more,
So it's
between June to June, they could have more.
So it's one time a year.
Right,
Okay.
right. And the easiest way to do it is if they do it in conjunction with their liquor license.
Yep.
All right, so we have any comments on the special amusement permit for Avalon Enterprises? So,
I see there's a lot of people.
I know it's a problem to get through. All right, all right, no comments, any other comments? All right, no comments, we'll just make this public hearing closed. All right, number 2, ordinance.
You gotta make a motion. to
Oh,
give them-
I move that we grant.
Sorry.
Second motion.
All right, well, motion and a second to award a special amusement permit to Avalon Enterprises Incorporated. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, number 2, ordinance review, chapter 488, shoreline zoning update.
So the planning board has been working on this, and they have run into a little bit of debate on timber harvesting in the shoreland. So they are meeting on May the 28th you don't have anything on shoreline zoning here, because I didn't want to give you all 62 pages of the shoreline zoning ordinance.
I hear you.
So they have promised me that they will make a recommendation at their meeting on May the 28th. So if we do have this meeting on June the 3rd, this will be on the agenda to bring it forward to town meeting. Timber harvesting is the issue, whether we maintain local control of our timber harvesting within the shoreline zoning, or do what the state recommends, give all the control to the state. So there's a little bit of a division on the planning board as to which direction to go in, but they're working on it. So that's the update. The floodplain ordinance is all done, and basically the planning board just reviewed and okayed the state's recommended changes to the floodplain ordinance. So that's ready to go to town meeting if you want to motion it to town meeting.
Make a motion, take it to their meeting.
All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on chapter 422,
422, my mistake.
floodplain management update. Any
It's well in
questions?
here, right?
Yeah, it's on the ordinance, it's 422, my mistake.
All right, any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor. I do have a question before we move on. On this permit here that's in our packet,
Yep.
I believe we have to have signatures.
Yes, I've got an original up here.
Thank you.
So, bear with me as I find it. There it is. Good catch.
He's been chasing you down.
I'm impressed.
What are you impressed by?
That guy winding his car.
Okay.
Hey, they have motorcycles on my street.
Oh. They all have, they go on Bond Street.
He was doing well on the first day, now he's just going all to shit again.
Trying.
Okay, let's go on now to discuss TIF budget.
Yep.
River Road project.
So I talked to the road commissioner, and what he has decided to pursue out of TIF, and you should have this in your packets, this spreadsheet, thank you, that reviews the TIF, the 2020 TIF budget is all the way to the right there. So if you go about 2/3 of the way down, you'll see capital roads. And there's a note there that says continue River Road for $145,000. That's what we're proposing to spend this year on River Road. What that gets you is paving from just past Conjockey Road, where the paving stopped last year, up into the beginning of Lloyd's Pit. And that $145,000 also gets you Lloyd's work to move the road over, so that by the end of this year, the River Road will be done and moved over up past the entrance to Lloyd's Pit and up around that corner. And then next year, you'll finish paving out to the Sullivan line. So that's the strategy for River Road.
And the poles?
And the poles will be moved in this budget as well.
When we continue on from there to the town line, are we gonna move that big pine tree that's in the road?
The big pine tree.
Yeah.
Rex Barkwell,
in his yard.
right on his driveway.
Oh, that one there. Unfortunately, the road commissioner couldn't be here tonight. That's a good question for him.
I mean.
But that's also a question for next year.
Yeah, there's gotta be abundance of roots under that road.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big tree.
Yeah. So, any questions other than the big pine tree about that project?
So Jeff is gonna get up to it, he's gonna get a nice road from his dooryard down, right?
Yes. He's gonna eliminate the seam that's in right in front of.
Okay.
That keeps him.
I wish he was
trucks
here.
go by. So, a couple lines up from that, you'll see 15,000 for sidewalks. We hadn't spent any money on sidewalks in a couple of years, and if you remember that meeting over at East Madison, the two priority jobs in this 15,000 will be in front of 1 Madison Avenue,
Yeah.
and then over in conjunction with CN Brown and the entrance to Subway.
Right.
So we did, they talked to Susan today about getting everything they needed to get that paved. So that looks like it's gonna be an early summer job to get that CN Brown parking lot done. So, and our side,
way over to like Subway?
it does, although some of that parking lot is owned by the people that own the Subway building.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if everybody's chipping in to do their part, but just keep in mind, going forward with sidewalks, there's a lot of money we could spend every year on sidewalks. And it's just, we have to kind of budget carefully. So, in order to move these things around, I talked with Jeff and with Donnie. You'll see in the comments, no equipment match, no equipment match. So in order to move these things around and free up some money for matching grants and the revolving loan, we had to eliminate some of the money that in the past we had given to fire and highway to match some of their equipment purchases. Now, they're okay with that this year because they got most of what they needed out of capital. So we didn't have to do a little capital, a little TIF, little capital, little TIF, we did most capital. So what that does is right in the middle of the page, that frees up $25,000 for a matching grant program and $30,000 to add to our revolving loan program. Really, you're dealing with a pot of money of about $560,000. That's what we're slated to earn in TIF this year and next year, because it's based on the tax rate. And so the tax rate doesn't change much, we get about this much money in our TIF account. So basically what I've done is try to restructure this TIF budget so that within that same pot of money, about $559,000, you've got money for River Road, sidewalks, matching grant, add to the revolving loan, and all the other items that are in there, like our salt and calcium. I bumped those up a little bit because we overspent on salt and calcium this year. And then that top category is all just little things like our dues and contract services and events like Madison Anson Days and the Christmas celebration. Those all come under that economic development budget. So I don't think I need an approval at this point, unless if you want to wait till after town meeting. Traditionally, that's when the board approves the TIF budget, is after town meeting. But I just wanted to give you this idea to see if there's anything that jumps out at you. if you've got any questions.
Tim, so your TIF fund money is 330,000, basically. That, all of these things are TIF money,
Right, 330 down here, yeah.
right? So, and we're gonna get roughly 560?
Right. And the other 230 is what we put toward the budget over in that gray box all the way over to the left.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
I look
where
at
the
it
money
like,
goes.
we have fixed expenses that it's built right into the town meeting warrant
Right.
to offset municipal expenses, and then we have variable. So the gray is fixed, the white's variable, and they add up to about 560.
Okay. Yeah. Right to the penny,
Questions?
right to the penny.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Yeah, Tim, I'm glad at least we're putting 15,000 in for sidewalks.
Yeah.
Sidewalks are gonna be like roads. If we don't keep addressing a little bit at a time, we'll never catch up.
Right.
Never catch up, and I think it's a great thing to do on Madison Avenue right there. There's a lot of traffic right there.
Yeah.
A lot of foot, and the same thing, I don't know how somebody hasn't broke their neck by seeing Brown.
Boy,
That is atrocious to be like that. And and I, for one, am looking forward each year to doing something with sidewalk.
And I think that now that we're back on track, I think we can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Barry,
So, under the matching grant, if we set aside $25,000, is that something that you would be willing to take applications and maybe make some grants after the start of the fiscal year? In the past, we had set aside as much as $50,000 and gave away $5,000 grants. If you wanted to just spread it out, you could do $2,500 grants and take applications and then determine how you want to spend that money.
it's kind of out on the street that we're gonna do that again.
There's been a lot of people asking.
Yes.
Yes.
So we can discuss that later, you saying?
Well, I just wanted to get an idea, do you want me to bring to the next meeting in June after town meeting, some guidelines? We've already looked at the application. Do we want to set a time period, say we'll take applications from this date to this date? So I can put that on the schedule and bring that to you.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah, I, for one, just to keep it the way we've been doing it,
Yeah, we don't have to change it.
It isn't broke, so let's not fix it again.
Well, let me ask you this, do you want to do 5, if you have 25,000 to spend, do you want to do 5 $5,000 grants, or do you want to do 10 $2,500 grants? How do you want to do it?
My thought on that would be to, just like you said, just keep it as it is, because that's what everybody's expecting, so
Right.
then, I mean, we always have the option, if we have 10 people apply, you have the option of saying no. These projects are gonna get funded, these aren't, I mean, you just, at some point, you just gotta be able to say that, so I think we keep it like we are, and I agree with, if people wanna get their ducks in a row and get their applications in, so that after the town meeting vote, we can be ready to start bringing those in. Mr. Wise?
But as I remember, quite a few of those were like a $3,000 project, we gave them half of that,
Some of those
$1,500.
were, right.
They're not all gonna be $10,000 projects,
Not
right?
all,
You're right.
That's right.
You're right.
So it'll go a lot further than you think, really.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're in agreement on that.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need a vote on that, we'll take a vote on that. I would just caution the board that if we're talking about grants and matching loans out there, that we just let it come out of the town office, because everybody and their brother's gonna come and say, I wanna get some of that loan money. Well, understand, we've already spent it.
Right.
But if we've established a footprint,
Yeah.
then we're not changing it. So
Absolutely.
we don't have to justify
Well,
why
why
we
you do
changed
this
it.
way?
Exactly, it's the
Absolutely.
same way as it was before,
Right on,
and it's working.
right on. It has worked in the past.
Yes, right.
What do we figure, we had there was a significant investment.
Oh, it was over 600,000.
Yeah, we had like $100,000 we put on the street, and it was over $600,000 invested.
Yeah.
In town, so that matching grant program
Yeah.
really works well. so. Okay. Any other comments, questions about matching grant sidewalks or River Road? Okay. Selectmen's concerns, Mr. Moody,
None, sir.
Mr. Elias,
None for me, Mr. Vice.
Mr. Savage.
Not for me.
My only concern I voiced with the town manager was the property on Pine Street. We need to be keeping an eye on that because it's getting progressively worse.
It's that time of year, I've got 3 properties that people brought to my attention, just property maintenance things. Winter's over, and so now it comes out of the woodwork again.
Where is that located?
That's right across from the old mill house. On the-
Oh, okay, he's that guy.
Yeah.
He's still in there?
Well, yeah.
Did you read the article in the paper this morning about Fairfield?
Oh, yeah.
And the amount
Oh,
of,
yeah.
the amount of money that they've
Oh,
spent.
oh, yeah.
to deal with that.
It's
So
awful.
we hope that nothing grows to that extent.
Well, that's why we gotta keep on it. But the other thing is the apartment building that they put all that money into right next door to it is for sale.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
you may get an owner that's not as
That's right.
hands-off as,
Interesting.
so, I just happen to notice that. Any citizens' concerns? Any citizens' concerns? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Yes.
All in favor, it is a vote. We are.